Hi, welcome back, y'all, to Walk Your Talk with Christ. My name is Melshani Collins, and I am here to learn and explore together on how to walk authentically with God, to learn more about Him, to build a better relationship with Him. And so, y'all, we're just gonna jump right into it today. I'm not gonna hold y'all long. But one of the topics that I wanted to discuss today is how to defeat the enemy. Okay, y'all. So let me tell y'all on how that topic came to mind. So I was watching my uncle was doing a live, right, and they were kind of grilling him on well, let me give y'all a little bit of background information. So my uncle name is Derek Jackson, and he is a state representative 64 in District 64. And he was doing a live on Facebook, right? And they were kind of, because he's campaigning to become lieutenant governor. So they were kind of drilling him or grilling him at this radio station to try to figure out what he can offer, what he's going to bring, to the table, and what he can do for the people. And so the radio host, I really don't remember his name, but the radio host was saying that although, this is just for us specifically, black people, that he was saying, from my take from it, he was saying that we need to get to a point where we can size up our opponent, not to always feel like we are going to be defeated, or that they have better infrastructure, right? They have better they just have better overall chances of getting what they want. And he was saying that at the end of the day, we need to take the stance that, hey, we can do the same thing. We don't have to always be worried about what they have over us, whether it's power, whether it's money, whether it's a position, whatever it is. We need to come together as a people if we want to see change in our communities. And so he was talking to my uncle, and my uncle brought up the story of David and Goliath. And he said that the problem is that it's not necessarily that black people don't and he wasn't saying black people, but he was saying it's not necessarily that our culture or our race does not have the wherewithal to defeat our opponent. He said, but when David went against Goliath, David had 5 rocks. Now, everybody in that area, in that town, had already sized up Goliath and was like, absolutely not. He's too big. He's too big. We cannot defeat him. David had some rocks, y'all, some rocks for a giant, but he had the belief in God that God would give him the strength to defeat Goliath with that rock. He didn't ever take into consideration Goliath's size. That didn't mean anything to him. He already knew that he was of much smaller stature compared to this giant named Goliath. But he did not take into account Goliath's size because he didn't care. It was of no consequence to him how big Goliath was. He had the heart, and he was going to do what he needed to do. He was going to defeat Goliath, period, by himself. He ain't need no army. He ain't need no co-signer. He was going to do it by himself. And so when I was listening to that, I really thought about this story that is in the Bible, because I thought to myself, so if David could go against somebody that was bigger, stronger than him, what would give him the mindset to, number one, use a rock, and number two, to overcome what he saw in the natural, tap into what God had gave him in the spiritual, and know that the outcome was going to be the result that he wanted? Right? So I thought about this story in the Bible, you all. It comes from Numbers 3. No, I'm sorry. It comes from Numbers 13. And so this is, I'm a paraphrase some of the story, and then I'm going to add scripture in there specifically when I read it from the Bible. So you all, I'm getting this from the Holy Bible app that I have on my phone, and I'm reading it in the New Living Translation. So basically, the Lord told Moses to send out some men to explore the land of Canaan, right? He said, "This is the land that I am giving to the Israelites. Send one leader from each of the 12 ancestral tribes." So y'all, this is Numbers 13 and 1, and I'm going down. So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He sent out 12 men, all tribal leaders of Israel, from their camp in the wilderness of Paran. Y'all, it's a lot of names in here, but I'm going to tell y'all the tribe. The tribe of Reuben, Simeon, Judah, Issachar, Ephraim, Benjamin, Zebulun, Manasseh, son of Joseph, Dan, Asher, Naphtali, and Gad. Or Gad, G-A-D, y'all, not G-O-D. And so Moses went ahead and sent out the leaders of the tribes, and he said, "Okay, y'all, this is what I need y'all to do. I need all y'all to go out, scope the land out, see what it's looking like, and bring me back some good news," right? And so y'all, this is down. I'm skipping through y'all, but I'm reading straight down. I'm paraphrasing it. Where I'm at, y'all, is Numbers 13, verse 18 now, where it says, "See what the land is like and find out whether the people living there are strong, weak, few, or many. See what kind of land they lived in. Is it good? Is it bad? Do the towns have walls?" So basically Moses was like, "Look, we need to get a plan. Go ahead and see what this land is looking like. See what these people talking about. See what kind of weapons they got. See what they, what the food looking like. How many people? Is it a lot? Is it a little bit? Get all the specs of this land when y'all go out, and y'all can come back to me and give me a report." So all the tribal leaders went and explored the land from the wilderness, right? So y'all, this is Numbers 13 verses 21. Going north, they passed through the Negev and arrived at Hebron, where Ahiman, Sheshi, and Talmai, all descendants of Anak, lived. When they came to the valley of Eshcol, they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes so large that it took two of them to carry it on a pole between them. They also brought back samples of the pomegranates and figs. So can you imagine? We all know what a cluster of grapes looks like and feels like. Y'all, it's as light as a feather. They went to this land that had a cluster of grapes so big that two men from the tribe had to carry it and put it on their shoulders. Y'all, to me, if I go to this land and I see some cluster of grapes that's that big, oh, I want what they got. I don't know what's in the soil. I don't know, who blessed the land or whatever the case is, but I want that. That's where I want to be. So y'all, all the tribal leaders came back to Moses after exploring the land for 40 days. Y'all, we are down in verse 25. So they all came back and showed everybody. So y'all, we talking about he sent the 12 tribal leaders, right? So the leader of each tribe. But of course they had their own people. So there was a lot of people that needed to be reported back to. So they reported to the whole community what they had seen and showed them the fruit that had been taken from the land. This was their report to Moses. "We entered the land you sent us to explore, and it is indeed a bountiful country, a land flowing with milk and honey." So y'all, let's stop it. So when we have heard in plenty of sermons, a land flowing with milk and honey, it's literally not a land flowing with milk and honey, but we're talking about a land that's filled with goodness, right? So the ground is tilled, is ready, for harvest. We're talking about the housing. We're talking about the culture. We're talking about everything is good there. That's what they mean by the land is flowing with milk and honey. Basically, it's got it going on. This land is bad, baby. So they said, "But the people living there are powerful, and their towns are large and fortified." So this land, Canaan, had it going on, and it was everything that these tribal leaders wanted. So they came back and reported it, right? So they said that "we even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. The Amalekites live in the Negev, and the Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites live in the hill country. The Canaanites live along the coast of the Mediterranean Sea and along the Jordan Valley." But Caleb tried to quiet the people as they stood before Moses and said, "Let's go at once to take the land. We can certainly conquer it." Now, y'all, the tribal leaders already said the land is good, but bro, can we beat all of these giants? I don't know. Caleb is like, "Man, what you mean? If you said the land is good last let's go. What we waiting for? See, Caleb had that heart. Caleb had the heart. I don't know if y'all remember Baby Boy, but remember when them little kids beat up Tyrese and I think at the liquor store and they stole his bike. And so when Tyrese and his friend caught them at the park at night, and he lined up all the friends and told them to line up, and they all was standing like this, and he punched all of them, and then the main culprit, the little boy at the end, was standing like this, like he had heart. Right, he was gonna and they was like, yeah, put your chin up, put your chin. He put his chin up, and he was like, yeah, I ain't gonna spank you because you had heart. I ain't gonna whoop you, but he ended up punching him anyways, y'all. That was Caleb. For those who know, watch Baby Boy, that was Caleb. And Caleb was like, we can certainly conquer it. Period. It's like Caleb didn't care that they was giants. We can do this. So, but the other men who had explored the land with him disagreed. We can't go up against them. Y'all, this is Numbers 13, verse 31. We can't go up against them. They are stronger than we are. So they spread this bad report about the land amongst the Israelites. Y'all, we all know that negative Nancy, right? Now, in this case, it was a lot of them. But we know the negative Nancy that is going to go out and see what's happening and come back and spread all of their insecurities. Right? Even though it might not be that hard for you, you're like, oh, I can take this on, this task, whatever it is. This person like, no, we can't do it. We don't got this, we don't got that, because they don't got heart. They don't have heart. So when these tribal leaders started spreading this bad report about, even though the land is good, y'all, they got some giants and we cannot beat them. They started spreading that, which means that they started spreading doubt and worry and fear to the rest of the tribe. Do you all know how important it is to be a leader? And even though you may have some reservations about some things that you may be getting into, when you are leading people, you need to drop onto your knees and you need to pray. Because one of the things you don't want to do is to develop a spirit of fear and feed it to the people. Y'all, there's a scripture said that God has not given me the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. So if you doling out fear to people, and especially if you're responsible for them, I don't care if you're responsible for them in the natural, meaning you're a supervisor, meaning you are a manager or whatever your position is, and you're above people and you're responsible for people below you, or you're a pastor. And you're doling out the spirit of fear through your speech, through how you carry yourself. That's not from God. God said he did not give the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So y'all, when these tribal leaders, they spread the bad news to the Israelites, to their tribe, and their tribe started getting afraid, y'all. And they said, the land we traveled through and explored will devour anyone who goes to live there. All the people we saw were huge. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. Next to them, we felt like grasshoppers, and that's what they thought too. So y'all, I told y'all in the beginning how the tribal leaders went and scoped the land. I didn't see particularly, and I could be wrong, but I didn't see where they had conversations with any of these giants. So how do they know what these giants thought about them? Did one of the giants say, hey, bro, you look like a grasshopper to me. I'll stomp on you. Like, did he threaten them? I mean, it's not in Numbers. Y'all read Numbers 13, the whole thing, Numbers 13, and it goes all the way down to verse 33. Y'all, I didn't see it. And I could be wrong. But one of the tribal leaders could have went and beefed with the giant. The giant was like, hey, bro, you ain't no match for me. You ain't no match for me. Like, I stomp you into the ground. But I didn't see it, right? So to me, that means that these tribal leaders came up with this grasshopper identity for themselves because of the bigness of the giant. Now, mind you, y'all, if they would have sent a whole bunch of Davids, Honey, they would have took over that land like it was nobody's business. See, they needed a lot more Caleb's. That's what they needed. They need a lot more Caleb's and a lot less Peters. Okay? Peter was strong when he needed to be, but he sure enough was scary when he needed to be too. That's just my opinion. Don't shoot the messenger. So they said, I'm gonna read it again to y'all. It's Numbers 13 verse 33. We even saw giants there, the descendants of Anak. Next to them we felt like grasshoppers, and that's what they thought too. Who said it? Just because I'm smaller than you, what make you think I'm a grasshopper? What make you think I'm a grasshopper? Absolutely not. I might be small in stature, but I'm big in heart. One of the things my husband always told me, he said, you might be 5'2", but you're just as big as me. You 6'4". He always told me that. Because even though I was small, you can call me little Napoleon or whatever. Okay? But at the end of the day, you're not finna discount me because I'm 5'2". Like, you're not. I can do, not everything, but I can do what you can do. That's how I always carried myself. That's how I always felt. I don't even care, y'all. Even when it came to a job position, I always tell myself, if I can think, I can do it. Now, y'all, when it comes to lifting heavy stuff and stuff like that, I can't do that. But I wasn't applying for that stuff anyways. But you see what I'm saying? Y'all, so they deemed themselves grasshoppers because of the giants that was in front of them. So because they deemed themselves as grasshoppers, they automatically thought that the giants thought that way about them too. And so what they did was they took themselves away from the blessing, which means they didn't even have enough faith in God. They didn't even say, okay, Lord, it's a lot of big giants. So Lord, what we using? We using rocks today? we using sticks. Lord, what we doing? Lord, we got the Red Sea, like what we doing? We drowning them, like Lord, what we doing? They didn't even give God enough, they didn't even think enough about him to even ask him what did he want them to do. They automatically discounted themselves because they felt like they weren't adequate. Automatically. And they were good in numbers. But they discounted themselves because they felt like they were not adequate. Y'all. So again, the title is How to Defeat the Enemy, right? Because the enemy will do the same thing to us. We'll go up against a job that we know we qualify for, but then we get there and there's 15 other people there. People that got better education than us. People that got more letters behind their name than the alphabet. People that we feel like look better than us. People that is more articulate than us. And we size ourselves up and we talk ourselves out of the blessing. We size up what's going on, the fight that is going on with the enemy, and we talk ourselves out of the blessing because we feel like it's too big. We feel like we can't do it. We feel like we can't climb this mountain. Meanwhile, do we know that we are discounting who our Father is? Let me take it a step back. Do you know who your Father is? Because if you know who your Father is, then baby, I don't care what you got. You can have better education. You can have more letters behind your name. You can be more articulate. You can dress better than me. You can have a better body. You can look. You can have the heels, the clothes, the hair, whatever. Have whatever you want. But they ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm going to mind my business because guess what? This is for me. Whatever it is, it's for me. Y'all, we have to stop letting Satan talk us out of everything that God has for us. Y'all, because we lose by default. Satan is like, if I can just get you to believe, I don't want. That's all I need you to do is believe. Believe the lies. Get in partnership with me. This is too big for you. You're not educated. God can't use you. You done been through too much. You done did too much. You're a sinner. Why you think that God will want you to do this? Why do you think he will bless you with this? You're not good enough. You didn't even read the Bible yesterday. You was out partying 2 weeks ago. Satan will tell us everything in the book to discourage us. But you all, it is our responsibility to stand on the word. It is our responsibility to stand on a word. They discounted themselves from going to a land that was super prosperous. Y'all, the land was already there. All they had to do was take it. They didn't have to build nothing. They didn't have to do nothing. They didn't have to develop nothing. All they had to do was believe enough in themselves to overtake that land. All they had to do was ask God for his wisdom and guidance to overtake that land. That's it. If God could equip David to kill a giant and he did it with a rock, why would not God tell them what they need to do to go ahead and defeat those giants and take over that land? Y'all, let me go back to the Numbers. Hold on, y'all. Numbers 13, verse 1. It said, the Lord now said to Moses, send out men to explore the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to the Israelites. Come on, y'all. So the Lord told Moses that. So you mean to tell me that God is going to send you out, tell you to do something, and not equip you to do it? Because if he don't, he just pulled the okie doke on you just for giggles, right? He just want to see you mess up. No. That is not our Father. It said, the Lord now said to Moses, send out the men to explore the land of Canaan, the land I am giving to the Israelites. He said he was giving that land to them. And they got scared. They got scared and talked themselves out of it. What are you afraid about and talking yourself out of doing because you feel like God isn't big enough? Because guess what? You might say, oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's not my time. I'm just saying I don't got no money saved up. I'm just saying I don't know what to do. I'm just saying. Well, stop saying. Stop saying. Because what you are saying is that God is not big enough to meet you where you are. You're saying that God is not omnipotent, omniscient enough to know what your next step is. You're saying that God is not Jehovah Jireh, your provider. That's what you're saying. That is what you're saying. Y'all, when it's time for us to get out and do something that God has told us to do, if he told you to do, and I've said this before, he's already assessed your adequacy. It doesn't matter. Do you think that God was like, oh snap, I forgot that they had sin last week. I forgot that they sinned yesterday. My bad. Matter of fact, it disqualifies you. It disqualifies you. You don't reach the sin ratio. It's a wrap for you. No. Do you know how many people have been in the Bible that was prostitutes, hoes, thieves, murderers, incestuous? The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And those were the people he used. Those were the people who he used. God will use anybody who's willing, who is available. Make yourself available to him. He's going to provide for you, but he can't provide where you don't believe. He cannot provide where you do not believe. And so y'all always go back. You got to have that faith. And then when you have that faith, y'all, we got to be obedient. But how you going to be obedient if you don't hear? How are you going to be obedient if you don't hear? And they heard. Moses heard. It said the Lord said to Moses and told them. They didn't have enough faith. So just because you hear, and then just because you be obedient, if you do not have enough faith, it will not happen. So y'all, they heard, because they went and they were obedient. But when they got back, their faith wasn't strong enough. They discounted themselves. They discounted themselves. So y'all, how we got to defeat the enemy is first, we got to pray. 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 And ask God for that strength. Ask God for supernatural abilities. Ask God to provide. Ask God to be, what's the scripture? That he will be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. If he's telling you to go somewhere and it's the land that he's trying to give you, it's something that he's trying to give you, y'all, he's trying to give it to you. But you got to move your feet. You got to be obedient. You have to have faith. You got to hear him. Y'all, all of those things that I've been talking about for these past couple weeks, y'all, go in conjunction with each other. They go into conjunction with each other. And then when you pray and you ask God about whatever it is, whether it's the enemy trying to come against something that God has promised you, but maybe you've been waiting for a long time and you're getting impatient. Matter of fact, y'all, let me go to a scripture that God gave me this morning. And the scripture is in Habakkuk. In Habakkuk 2. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to read it from... I'm going to say it's Habakkuk 2 through 3. And then it says, then the Lord said to me, write my answer plainly on tablets so that a runner can carry the correct message to others. This vision is for a future time. It describes the end and it will be fulfilled. If it seems slow in coming, wait patiently, for it will surely take place. It will not be delayed. So y'all, that was in the New Living Translation. Let me read another one to y'all, so because y'all gonna know the scripture when I say it. Okay, and this is still Habakkuk 2 through 3. And it says, and the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it. Y'all, so just right there, he said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables. For he that run, he may run, he may do, he may act, he may go, right? He may run that readeth it. So that readeth the vision that was written. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. That's what it says. It says, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. So y'all, if y'all waiting for something from God, or God gave you a promise, or you're praying over something that you want to happen in your life, but you feel like whatever it is too big in front of you. You can't do it by yourself. You can't accomplish it. You feel like, well, Lord, how am I going to do this? And when we look at the giants in our lives, you all, we're not actually talking about people. It could be people, right? It could be a relationship. It could be a friendship, right? It could be a job we want. It could be a degree we're going after. It could be a business that needs to be started. It could be, trying to deal with your children. It could be trying to be a better parent. It could be so many. It could be your finances. It could be so many things, y'all, that can be giants in our lives. But you do not look at the giant in your life and say what they said in Numbers. You don't look and say, oh, we are grasshoppers, and that's what they think too. Because what is the scripture? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. If you think you a grasshopper, baby, get the hopping. Okay? Because you think you're a grasshopper. If you think that you aren't adequate or you aren't capable or you aren't consistent or whatever you think about yourself, that's what you will be. That's what you will be. You got to start speaking stuff over yourself. Even though you might not be everything that you want to be, speak it. Speak it. Because when you speak it, it is. And it will start manifesting. Speak it. Speak what you want to see. Speak who you want to be. Speak it. It says in the power of the tongue is life and death. The power in your mouth is life and death. What do you want to see? What do you want to see? Because everything that your life is everything that you produced. Everything that your life is everything that you have produced. And if you're okay with how life is, then keep living with how life is. But if you're not, you better start speaking what you want to see. Speak who you want to be. Because you're going to start, I'm telling you, the more you speak it over yourself, the more you will be. See, the devil, he is crafty when it comes to us not knowing who we are. The tribal leaders didn't know who they were. They ain't had no faith. They didn't know who they were. So that's why they called themselves grasshoppers. So they started thinking like a grasshopper. And they hopped right along about the land of Canaan. They hopped right on out of there, okay? They said, no, this is too big for us, baby. We can't do it. I don't care how many of us it is. We can't do it. And so they hopped right on out. They hopped right on out. How many of us done hopped right on out our blessing? Have y'all all seen that SpongeBob meme that said, I'm going to head out? How many of y'all done headed out on y'all blessing? Because y'all felt like y'all wasn't good enough. Y'all not deserving enough. God can't possibly be doing this for you. No, this never going to happen. Guess what? It's not going to happen. If you think it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And so when it doesn't happen, how can you get mad? How can you get mad? You spoke that over yourself. You spoke that over yourself. So how you defeat the enemy is number one is pray. And when you pray, you speak that life. I don't care if the situation look dead. I don't care if the situation look like it's a wrap. Unless God told you it's a wrap, then it ain't a wrap. You speak over your life. Speak over your children. Speak over yourself. Speak over your finances. Speak over your job. Speak over your health. Speak. Speak. And then you got to believe. Put that faith on it. Put that faith on it. He said we only need faith the size of a mustard seed. Put that faith on it. Y'all can, let me tell y'all. When you're talking about faith, you can put your weight on it. It's not because of the promise that you're believing in. It's because of who you're believing in. That's where the weight come from. If you know who your father is, that's where the weight come from. Put your weight on God. Let him know, like, hey, we in this. We in this. Because you all, if you don't, that means you're saying you don't believe him. You might not be saying it with your mouth, but you sure enough saying it with your actions and your intentions. You're saying, Lord, this might be too big for you. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on this one. That's what you're saying to him. Put your weight on God. It's not about the promise. Do you want the promise? Whatever it is you're praying for, absolutely. That's why you're praying about it. But you put your weight on God. Put your weight on God. Because you can bet your money all day. If he told you that it's going to happen, it's coming. It's coming. You do not know the minute. You do not know the day. Nor do you know the hour. But you can bank on it. You can take that check, cash it, give it to the bank. That's one thing I do know. So you pray, you speak over whatever your circumstances are. Then you put a little bit of faith on it. And then if God told you to do something, you walk that thing out in faith. You be obedient. And when the enemy want to try to come and tell you what it's not going to be, baby, keep speaking. Keep speaking. Speak till you don't hear his voice no more. Speak until them thoughts go away. Pray over yourself. Encourage yourself. Let God speak to you. But how he going to speak to you if you ain't hearing? How he going to speak to you if you ain't listening? We got to have all of those in conjunction. And guess what it's all called? The faith, the obedience, the hearing. Y'all, it's called a relationship. That's it. It's called a relationship. It's called a relationship. But y'all, when you pray and then you praise, that creates a harvest. Every time you pray, every time you send your praises up to him, it is going into that spiritual ground and it's moving and the roots is growing. Y'all, because y'all are creating a harvest. Just like a farmer. When a farmer goes and he takes his seed and he puts it into a ground that he's already tilled and prepared and fertilized properly, he waits a season. He waits a season to see whatever that he's been cultivating come up in its full fruitfulness. That's what you need to do. That's what I need to do. It's a season of waiting, a season of patience. And in Habakkuk 2 through 3, 2 through 3, that's what he said. Do not get overwhelmed with waiting. It will surely come. What God has promised you will surely come. But you got to wait. You have to wait. You got to believe. You got to be obedient in the meantime. And y'all, the other part of it, just live your life. Just live your life. Defeat the enemy in every way that you can every single day. If you got to defeat the enemy by not going back to that old boo and calling him, defeat the enemy that way. If you got to defeat the enemy by praying consistently, I don't care if it's 5 minutes a day that you need to start off with. Defeat the enemy that way. If you got to defeat the enemy by apologizing to somebody that you normally wouldn't apologize to, defeat the enemy that way. If you have to defeat the enemy by not eating out 20 times a week to save some money, to start being a good steward over the things that God has been blessing you with, defeat the enemy that way. If you have to defeat the enemy by reading a scripture a day, defeat the enemy that way. If the enemy is giving you some negative, stuff about yourself, about your children, about your marriage, about your, about your job, about who you never gonna be, speak and defeat the enemy that way. That's it. That's it. Pray over yourself. Speak over yourself. Have faith in what God has told you or what you're speaking in. Be obedient to whatever God has told you to do. Send those praises up to God, and it's going to create that harvest. And baby, when that harvest comes, it's going to be beautiful. You are not going to be thinking about everything that you had to do to get there. Because I'm telling you, some of the blessings that I got from God, I didn't think about the waiting period. I was just happy that I got it. I was just happy that I got it. I was just happy that I got it. So you all, those are some strategies to defeat the enemy. Don't ever come into agreement with what the enemy wants you to believe about yourself. Know who you are. Know who you belong to. Don't come into agreement with him and his foolishness, because you don't have to. It's a choice. It is a choice that you are making, but you don't have to. And that is how you defeat the enemy. So you all, that is my time today. This again is Melshani Collins, and this is Walk Your Talk with Christ. You all, if you have any topics, please send them to info@mcollinsgrace.com. I'm going to slide this little plug in, y'all. If y'all know anybody that got any defects cases in Georgia, they need help. They got some investigations. They have foster care, voluntary kinships, whatever kind of cases. Let them know that I'm the Olivia Pope, and I can help them with whatever they need help with, you all. I also have my business page on here that's called Giving Respect and Compassion Every Day. Y'all, that is my business page. So schedule a free consultation with me, y'all. But other than that, I will see you all on next Monday. Love you. Bye.